From gerrymandering to 526 to the half-cent sales tax, Alice Wakefield hopes to tackle those issues and more if she's elected to House District 110. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Alice, it is so good to see you.
Thank you, Quintin. It's good to have you here.
At the Jolly Corner.
At the Jolly Corner. You're always welcome.
Yes, well, I walk past it a lot, and obviously St. Philip's is right across the street.
Right.
And I usually go there for Holy Communion on Wednesday mornings or Wednesday evenings.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for many, many years, going back to probably 2006, 2007. Great people over there.
That's good.
Yes. Well, I came by because obviously we have to talk about politics.
Yes.
And right now in the headline news, if I can say that, is the half-cent sales tax.
Yes.
And as you know, Chip Limehouse, who will be vacating the seat that you want to have, actually is a proponent of it, along with Charleston Mayor John Tecklenburg as well as Mayor Keith Summey.
Yes.
When you think of the half-cent
and William Hamilton.
Right, that's right. And when you think of the half-cent sales tax, what sticks out to you?
I was really upset with the backroom dealing. I think that really set that program back a lot. I'd be surprised really if it passed. However, I do think there's a reason to have it. The State Department of the State House is doing nothing to fix our roads. You go down Cumberland, you go down the one across from East Bay. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it is, you just are rattling along. We need to fix roads. Okay. If the state doesn't do it, are we just going to wait and not fix them? So I think that's the rationale for the sales tax of a half penny. And also I'm a big fan for in making the buses better and getting the routes figured out better. So I'm a big fan of that part of it. And there was some green conservation in there too. So there were some good things in there. I think that the backroom dealing really set it back. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. How about setting back 526?
See, that was the thing. We thought that was off the table. And then they brought it back up.
Right.
And we didn't think that was even being considered. So I think that made a lot of citizens feel like they didn't like that backroom dealing.
And if you, Alice Wakefield, are elected as state representative for District 110,
yes,
what will you do to help 526 get moving forward or make certain that there's a better future for those folks on the islands?
Well, I would have to look into it more because I have a lot of people I really respect who do not want 526 expanded. They feel that it's just opening up that whole area to development. There are other areas that are already open and can be developed. But just when you came here, we said that there are 1,000 people a month moving into Charleston County. I don't know how you make places for 1,000 people to live fast enough to handle all that growth.
Let me turn to Elliott Summey. As you know, he has been in the forefront of the 526 negotiations. Obviously, as you know, last week he basically said, hey, I'm not going to seek chairmanship when that time comes in, but I will remain on county council, that is. When you look at Elliott Summey and what he's done as far as 526 and the controversial comments that he's said, who was Elliott Summey in your mind?
Well, I think he made a big mistake talking behind closed doors. And I think, and we all do. Okay. It's not like that's unforgivable. It's just that if he's learned from it, maybe we can go on. I know an awful lot of people are irritated with him and would like to see him disappear. Wow. So I don't mean any hostile way, but they feel that he really was pulling some fast deals and don't respect him for that.
Wow. Let me turn to City Hall. As you know, Mayor Tecklenburg basically sent his withdrawal proposal letter to the CIP board last week. When you think of that particular letter, what plays in your mind?
Well, I think a lot of the mayor, and I expect him to be dealing fair with all of us. And I think he did what had to be done, and that is to withdraw.
Let me turn back to you.
Okay.
As you know, it's 6 days before the election.
Imagine.
Go ahead.
It's been quite a campaign.
Wow.
My first time in politics, so I've learned a lot.
I was going to ask, who was Alice Wakefield 5, 6, 7 months ago versus right now?
Right. Well, I was a very contented, retired university professor,
Right.
enjoying this beautiful city. And there are a lot of things. I think you probably remember the story. I stood up because nobody else was standing up in this Democratic slot. And I think the citizens deserve to have a choice at the ballot box. But you know, Quintin, as I've gotten into it, I've really felt that the State Department needs my voice. Do you know that South Carolina is 49th out of 50 states in terms of number of women who are in the legislature? I just think that's appalling, because that's a voice that would represent half or more than half of the state population.
Yeah.
So I think they need that voice. But also, Quintin, I'm upset with the way they have dealt with gun safety. They haven't addressed gun safety at all. Instead, they had to argue about whether or not they could put a $5,000 deduction on bankruptcy for gun owners. Now, that's not a woman's perspective, I'll tell you that. Whose guns are they protecting? Not mine. I'll tell you, that really told me how they feel about guns. And then they also did another thing that I thought was poor. Here we are after the tragedy at Mother Emanuel, after the tragedy with Walter Scott. We should be thinking about gun safety. And what did they do but make reciprocity for concealed carry with Georgia, which has a very, very lax gun carry law. South Carolina has a pretty good concealed carry law. So for us to have reciprocity with a state that does not, I think it also tells the citizens that gun safety is not something that the State House wants to deal with.
And another thing that's appalling to you is gerrymandering.
Yeah, gerrymandering is a big deal. And that's in every state in the country. And what it starts with the state legislature, because whoever is in charge of the legislature is in charge of redistricting, which is done every 10 years based on whatever the current census is. So the census tells you how many people you have. Then you divide those people into districts, and then they get out their GPS and they get out their primary voter lists, and they find out where the Republicans are living and where the Democrats are living, and then they make their crazy little and as you know, 110 is half of the peninsula, and across the Cooper River to half of Mount Pleasant. Now, why in the world it can't be all of Mount Pleasant in one district and all of the peninsula in one district? It seems that that would be a much fairer way. We would at least be contiguous.
Yes. Let me fast forward to November 9th. Write the headline for me.
Oh, I don't know what the headline's going to be. I hope it's, we have the first woman president in the country. And in the state, of course, I am so prejudiced because I know the candidates who are running on the Democratic ticket. Pastor Thomas Dixon is such a fine man. I just wish that he could be the new senator, the new U.S. senator. He didn't get endorsed by the Post and Courier either. I was really disappointed because it's saying that what's going on by the present senator is okay, and he voted against women, against violence. Here we are in South Carolina. No longer are we first in the country in terms of violence against women. We're down to 5th, but that's nothing to be proud of. And for our senator to have voted against protecting women just seems to me way beyond belief. And then we have Dimitri Cherney, who is running against
Congressman
Mark Sanford, and I think he deserves a chance. I don't like what Mark Sanford has done to represent me, and I think that Dimitri would do a much better job. And then I could just keep going. I think I could do a better job too.
Okay.
Because it was interesting in the paper today. the paper came out endorsing my opponent, but I was so surprised. They endorsed him for the things that I was telling them that I was going to do about the gas tax and repairing the roads. Those were things I was talking to them about. And then they acted as if that was just so wonderful that he was doing it, but it wasn't any different than what I had said.
So you didn't get listened to by the Post-Courier. How would you take your message and articulate it to the voters in 6 days?
Well, I'm trying to go out. I've got 4 interns from the College of Charleston, and we are canvassing the neighborhood. I think that Mount Pleasant is very interested in my platform because I am an educator, not a real estate developer, and they have been overcome with real estate development over there. So I think they have a good view of what I can offer. And just the fact that I would be the only educator in the State House, and I think they could use a little bit of expertise from a university professor, I hope. So that's one thing I would be stressing.
Yes, indeed. Well, Alice Wakefield, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
I appreciate you coming, Quintin. It's always good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you.